This is TK Kundu from the decks of Friendly Tutorial Home. Today I have brought before you a lesson to describe adjective, one of the parts of which in detail. So today I am going to describe the adjective and its division. Let me show you one by one. Adjective. Adjective. It can be classified into three types. Adjective can be generally classified into three types. 1. Descriptive. 2. Adjective denoting amount and number. 3. Indicative. First, I have written here descriptive. It has also two types. One is proper adjective and second is adjective of quality. Under the proper adjective, the examples are she is American. Here, American is proper adjective. Number 2 examples, I have learned French language. I have learned French language. French is proper adjective here. Number 3rd example, Chinese mobile phone is cheap. Chinese mobile phone is cheap. Here, Chinese is proper adjective. Adjective of quality, I have given first example, a wise man. Wise is adjective of quality. Secondly, a green field. Green is adjective of quality. Third example, hot water. Hot is adjective of quality. Next, number 2 I am coming. Adjective denoting amount and number. Adjective denoting amount and number. First example, she has little knowledge of history. Here, little is the example of adjective denoting amount. Number 2nd example, 30 boys are present in the class. Here, 30 is the example of adjective denoting number. Third example I have written here, I have no money. No, here it is the adjective denoting amount. No money. Number 4th example, APJ Abdul Kalam was the 11th president of India. 11th is the examples of adjective denoting number. Now, third part of adjective is indicative adjective. 7 categories are there under indicative adjective. 7 categories are there. Number 1, demonstrative adjective. Number 2, distributive adjective. Number 3, possessive adjective. Number 4, emphasizing adjective. Number 5, interrogative adjective. Number 6, relative adjective. Number 7, exclamatory adjective. Now let me give you the examples. Under the examples of demonstrative adjectives are these, that, all, such, these, those, etc. One example I have written in a sentence, that book is yours. Here, that is demonstrative adjective. Next, distributive adjective. Each, every, either, neither, etc. are the examples of distributive adjective. One sentence I have written here, for instance, each question carries 5 marks. Each here the example of distributive adjective. Next, possessive adjective. My, our, your, his, her, their, etc. are possessive adjectives. I have written here one sentence. This is my book. Here my is possessive adjective. Next, emphasizing adjective. Very, own, own, very, own, etc. are the examples of emphasizing adjective. I have written a sentence, mind your own business. Mind your own business. Here, own is the example of emphasizing adjective. Own is the example of emphasizing adjective. Next, interrogative. When we ask question with what, which, whose, etc., then it is interrogative adjective. I am showing the example how it is interrogative adjective. Which shirt will you choose? Which here is the example of interrogative adjective. Next, relative adjective. This is also which, what, etc. But in this case, we will not use this which, what to ask question. I have written a sentence for an example. I collected what information I could. I collected what information I could. Here, what is the example of what is the example of relative adjective? Exclamatory adjective. What? There is a sign of exclamatory. What? I have written example. What an idea. So it is the here what is the example of exclamatory adjective. So this is the total division classification of adjective, and very quickly I am reminding you what I have written here. Adjective can be classified generally into three categories: descriptive, adjective denoting amount and number, indicative. Descriptive has two types: proper adjective, adjective of quality. I have written an example here. Proper adjective: she is American. American is proper adjective. I have learned French language. French is proper adjective. Chinese mobile phone is cheap. Chinese is proper adjective. Now see the example of adjective of quality. A wise man, wise is adjective of quality. A green field, here green is the example of adjective of quality. Third, hot water, hot is the example of adjective of quality. Next, adjective denoting amount and number. First example I have written, she has little knowledge of history. Little is the example of adjective denoting amount. Next I have written 30 boys are present in the class. Here 30 is the example of adjective of number. Third example I have written, I have no money. No money. No here is the example of adjective of amount. Number 4 I have written as an example, APJ Abdul Kalam was the 11th president of India. Here 11th is the example. 11th is the example of adjective denoting number. Indicative adjective. 7 categories are there: demonstrative, distributive, possessive, emphasizing, interrogative, relative, exclamatory. Demonstrative: these, that, all, such, these, those, etc. Here I have written example in a sentence, that book is yours. That is the example of demonstrative adjective. Distributive adjective: each, every, either, neither, etc. are distributive adjective. Here I have written a sentence. Each question carries 5 marks. Each here is the example of distributive adjective. Possessive adjective my, our, your, his, her, their, etc. I have written sentence. This is my book. My is example of possessive adjective. Emphasizing adjective very, own, etc. The example I have written mind your own business. OWN is the example of emphasizing adjective. Interrogative adjective, when we ask question, is what, which, whose, etc. I have written a sentence. Which shirt will you choose? Which is interrogative adjective here. Relative adjective, same, which, what we can use, but here we will not use it to ask question. I have written an example. I collected what information I could. What is the example of relative adjective. Next, exclamatory adjective, what. I have put the sign of exclamation, sign of exclamation. Then I have written an example, what an idea. What is the example of exclamatory adjective. So guys, I think the adjective part is clear to you. If it is not clear, you can hear this again and again. So I hope you have enjoyed this class and have come to know about the adjective and its classification. Thank you for listening to me. I would request you again, if you have not yet subscribed my channel, you please do that so that you can get notification. I hope you will do that. Thank you. Bye bye.